A quiet moment before the world wakes can feel like standing at the edge of a great, shimmering ocean. So where the sky meets the water, in a line that seems both a boundary and an invitation. We often spend our days walking along the shore of our own lives, careful not to step too far into the deep, fearing the currents of change or the vastness of the unknown. We carry with us these invisible maps marked with here and no further. Boundaries we have built out of past disappointments, the whispers of critics, or the heavy stones of our own self-doubt. It feels safe within those lines, yet there is a persistent, gentle ache in the human spirit that knows we were created for more than the shallows. This longing we feel isn't a sign of discontentment, but rather an echo of our true design, a reminder that the soul recognizes a horizon much wider than the one our eyes can see. We look at our hands and see their smallness, but we forget whose hands formed the mountains and set the stars in their ancient paths. When we talk about shattering limits, we aren't talking about a frantic striving or a desperate climb to prove our worth. Instead, we are talking about the humble act of stepping aside so that the infinite can breathe through the finite. It is a journey of letting go of the I can't to make room for the God who always can, moving from a life defined by our strength to a life defined by His grace. Before we join our hearts in this sacred conversation with the Father, I want to thank you for being here with us at Miracle Prayer Studio. This space belongs to all of us who seek a deeper, more intimate walk with the divine, and your presence here is a gift. If you feel a calling to nourish your spirit in this way every morning, I would be so happy to have you subscribe and join our family of faith. Together, we can create a rhythm of prayer that carries us through every season, reminding one another that no matter how steep the mountain, we never have to climb it alone. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 20, we are given a promise that acts as a key to every locked door in our hearts, telling us that now, to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. These words from the Apostle Paul are not just a nice sentiment for a greeting card. They are a radical redefinition of what is possible when we align our lives with the Creator. To think of immeasurably more is to realize that even our wildest dreams, our boldest prayers, and our highest hopes are merely the starting point for what the Father desires to do. We often approach the throne of grace with a tiny cup, asking for just enough to get through the day, while He stands before us with an ocean of provision. This verse invites us to set down our measuring tapes and our calculations. It calls us to enter into a communion where the focus shifts from the size of our problems to the magnitude of His love, a love that works within us to expand our capacity to hope, to heal, and to soar beyond the limits of our own understanding. My King, as the first light of this day touches the earth, I come before you with a heart that is wide open and hands that are empty of my own agendas. I want to sit in the stillness of your presence for a moment, simply breathing in the peace that only you can provide. The house is quiet. The world is just beginning to stir. And in this sacred hush, I feel the weight of my own humanity. I recognize that I cannot step into this day on my own wisdom or my own energy. I offer this morning to you as a blank page, asking that you would be the one to write the story of the next 12 hours. Father in heaven, I entrust every minute of this day to your care, from the very first sip of water to the moment my head rests on the pillow tonight. I give you my thoughts, which so often scatter like leaves in the wind, pulling me toward anxieties that haven't happened yet or regrets that I should have left behind long ago. Please take my mind and anchor it in your truth. When I begin to feel overwhelmed by the tasks ahead, remind me that I am not a servant struggling under a heavy yoke, but a child walking hand in hand with a loving Father. I surrender my schedule, my to-do lists, and my expectations of how things should go, trusting that your interruptions are often your greatest invitations to see your hand at work. Jesus, I place my work, my conversations, and my interactions into your hands today. May the words I speak be seasoned with your grace, and may the silence I keep be filled with your peace. I ask that you would guide my steps even in the mundane moments, the commute, the chores, the routine emails. Let me see the divine purpose hidden in the ordinary. I want to move through this day with a sense of expectancy, not because I am great, but because I know you are. I lay down my need to be right, my need to be seen, and my need to be in control. I simply want to be yours, moving in step with your spirit, and trusting that where you lead, you will also provide the strength to follow. My dear Lord, as I look around at the life you have given me, my soul is stirred with a deep and humble gratitude. I am so thankful for the gift of this breath, a simple miracle that I so often take for granted. Thank you for the roof over my head, for the warmth of a blanket, and for the promise that your mercies are new every single morning. I think back on the ways you have carried me through the storms of the past, the times when I thought I wouldn't make it, when the darkness felt too thick to navigate. And yet, here I am, standing in the light of a new day. Your faithfulness has been my shield and my constant companion, and for that, I offer you my highest praise. I am grateful for the limits you have placed in my life that have actually been protections I didn't recognize at the time. Thank you for the closed doors that kept me from paths that would have led me away from your heart. Thank you for the no that eventually led to a much better yes. I see now that your love is just as present in the boundaries as it is in the breakthroughs. I thank you for the people in my life who reflect your kindness, the friends who listen, the family members who support me, and even the strangers whose small acts of goodness remind me that the world is still held in your hands. Every good thing I have is a reflection of your generous heart, and I want to live this day as a living thank you to you. Father, as I bask in your goodness, I also recognize the places where I have fallen short of the beauty you intended for me. I am so sorry for the times I have let my heart grow cold or cynical. Please, forgive me for the moments yesterday when I allowed frustration to dictate my tone, or when I let selfishness crowd out the needs of those around me. I regret the times I have looked at my brother or sister with judgment instead of the compassion you have so freely shown me. I am sorry for doubting your provision when things looked bleak, and for trying to fix with my own hands what only you can heal with your touch. My King, I ask for your forgiveness for the smallness of my faith. So often I pray for miracles but live as if they are impossible. I ask for your help, then I immediately begin to worry as if I am still alone. Please wash away the residue of my unbelief and the stains of my pride. I want to walk in the freedom that comes from being fully known and fully loved, yet I often hide behind masks of perfection. Strip away my pretenses, Lord, and help me to be honest before you. I receive your forgiveness now, letting it soak into the dry places of my soul, like a gentle rain, knowing that in your eyes I am made new, and the past has no power to define the man or woman I am becoming today. My King, as I look toward the horizon of this day, I ask for the grace to shatter the limits I have placed on your power in my life. I have spent so much time telling you how big my problems are, but today I want to tell my problems how big my God is. I pray for a breakthrough in my perspective. When I see a mountain, let me not focus on the climb, but on the view you are preparing for me from the top. Help me to believe that the things that have held me back for years, the habits, the fears, the old labels, can be broken in a single moment of your favor. I am tired of living in the barely enough, and I humbly ask to step into the more than enough that you promised in your word. I pray specifically for the areas of my life where I feel stuck. For my health, I ask for your restorative touch to flow through my body, bringing strength to my bones and vitality to my mind. For my finances, I ask for your wisdom to manage what I have and your favor to open new streams of provision that I haven't even thought of yet. I lay down the spirit of lack and pick up the spirit of abundance, trusting that you are the Jehovah Jireh who sees my needs before I even voice them. May I be a conduit of your blessing, so that as you pour into me, I can pour out into the lives of others without fear of running dry. Father in heaven, I lift up my family to you today. I ask for your protection to be a hedge around them, guarding their hearts, their minds, and their physical bodies. In a world that feels increasingly chaotic, be our steady anchor. I pray for my children that they would grow up with a sense of divine purpose, knowing that they are not accidents of nature, but masterpieces of your design. Protect them from the lies of the enemy that would tell them they aren't good enough or that their dreams are too big. Give them the courage to be different, the strength to be kind, and the wisdom to seek you above all else. May our home be a sanctuary of peace where your presence is the guest of honor at every meal and in every conversation. I also bring before you the work of my hands. Whether I am in an office, a classroom, a hospital, or my own home, I ask that you would anoint my efforts today. Grant me a spirit of excellence and a heart of service. When I feel weary or underappreciated, remind me that I am working for an audience of one. Give me creative ideas that solve problems and a calm spirit that diffuses tension. I pray for my colleagues and my supervisors, even the ones who are difficult to get along with. Soften my heart toward them, and let me be a source of encouragement in their day. I ask that you would expand my influence, not for my own glory, but so that your light can shine through me in places that are currently dark. My King, my heart turns now to those who are suffering in ways I can only imagine. I lift up the brokenhearted, those who are waking up to the first morning of a deep loss, and those who have been carrying a heavy grief for a long time. Please be the comforter you promised to be. Wrap your arms around them in the quiet moments when the world seems to move on without them. I pray for those lying in hospital beds, for those facing scary diagnoses, and for the caregivers who are exhausted. Let your healing power flow through the halls of medicine, and let your peace, which passes all understanding, settle over every anxious heart. I intercede for the lonely, for the ones who feel forgotten by society, and for those who are struggling with the silent weight of depression or anxiety. Lord, let them feel a tangible sense of your presence today. Send someone into their path who will speak a word of life, or give them a sign that you see them and that they matter. I pray for the least of these in our communities, the homeless, the hungry, and the marginalized. I ask that you would move the hearts of those who have plenty to share with those who have nothing. Use us, your church, to be your hands and feet, shattering the limits of our own comfort to reach out to those in need. Father, I pray for the leaders of the world and our local communities. Grant them hearts of integrity and spirits of humility. I ask that you would give them wisdom that is not of this world, leading them to make decisions that promote peace, justice, and the well-being of all people. In times of conflict, be the Prince of Peace. In times of confusion, be the wonderful Counselor. I pray that the walls of division that separate us, race, politics, religion, and class, would begin to crumble under the weight of your love. Help us to see the immeasurably more that is possible when we choose unity over discord and empathy over ego. My King, as I transition from this time of prayer into the activities of the day, I ask that the fragrance of your presence would linger on my soul. Let me be a person who carries peace into every room I enter. When I encounter obstacles, help me to respond with faith rather than fear. When I hear the whispers of my own limitations, help me to drown them out with the roar of your promises. I am ready to go beyond what I thought was possible, not because I have found new strength in myself, but because I have found my home in you. I trust you with the unknown, and I celebrate the miracles that are already on their way. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." Lord, help me to remember that what lies within me is your very Spirit, the same power that raised Christ from the dead. With that truth as my foundation, I know that no limit is permanent and no boundary is final. I step out into this day with a heart full of hope, eyes looking for your glory, and a spirit ready to receive all the immeasurably more you have in store. I am yours completely and forever. My King, as I stay here in the warmth of your presence, I feel my heart beginning to expand with a hope that I haven't felt in a very long time. I have lived so much of my life within the narrow confines of what I thought was realistic, but reality is a different thing entirely when your hand is involved. I want to move deeper into this sense of surrender, letting the walls of my own making fall down one by one as I look toward the light of your face. Please help me to hold on to this stillness even when the world starts to get loud, carrying the quiet confidence of a child who knows their Father is the architect of the universe. Father, I bring to you the specific hurdles that I am facing this week, the ones that feel like heavy iron gates blocking my path. I have looked at these problems from every angle, trying to figure out a way through them, but I realize now that I have been relying on my own limited strength. I lay these obstacles at your feet, not as a demand for a quick fix, but as a humble admission that I am out of answers. I ask that you would show me the immeasurably more path, the one that doesn't just bypass the problem, but uses it to refine my soul and show your glory. Help me to see that what I perceived as a dead end might actually be a redirection toward a much greater purpose. My dear Lord, I pray for a spirit of wisdom that goes beyond mere logic or human cleverness. Often I feel like I am walking through a thick fog, trying to make the right choices for my future and the well-being of those I love. I ask that you would clear the air and give me a divine intuition, a quiet whispering in my heart that tells me, this is the way, walk in it. When I am faced with difficult decisions today, help me to pause and listen for your voice instead of reacting out of fear or pressure. I want my life to be a reflection of your order and your peace, rather than a frantic attempt to keep up with the expectations of the world. Jesus, I lift up the physical and emotional exhaustion that I've been carrying like a heavy cloak. You know how tired my spirit feels when I've been pushing against limits that seem fixed and unmovable. I ask for your restorative power to soak into the very marrow of my bones, heal the parts of me that have become brittle from stress, and soften the areas where I have become hard due to disappointment. I want to be a vessel that is flexible and ready for the new things you are pouring out. Please renew my energy, not so I can do more things, but so I can be more present to the beauty of the life you have given me. Father in heaven, I pray for the shattering of the limits within my own character. I recognize that sometimes the biggest boundary in my life is my own pride, my own stubbornness, or my own unwillingness to be vulnerable. I ask that you would break through these internal barriers. Help me to be more patient with the people who test me and more generous with those who can offer me nothing in return. I want to love with the same limitlessness that you have shown me, a love that doesn't keep a tally of wrongs or wait for others to be worthy before offering kindness. Let my heart become a wide open space where your spirit can move without being hindered by my own small-mindedness. My King, I think of my friends and my extended family who are currently standing before their own mountains. I lift up those who are struggling with addictions that feel like unbreakable chains, and those who are trapped in relationships that drain their joy. I pray that they would experience a sudden and powerful breakthrough today. Let them feel a surge of hope that tells them change is possible and give them the courage to take the first small step toward freedom. I ask that you would place people in their lives who will support them and point them back to your truth, reminding them that they are never too far gone to be reached by your grace. Dear Father, I pray for the children in my community, especially those who do not have a safe place to call home or a loving voice to guide them. I ask that you would be their protector and their provider. Shatter the limits of the cycles of poverty and pain that have held their families for generations. I ask for a new story to be written for them, one filled with opportunity, education, and the knowledge that they are deeply cherished by the Creator of the stars. May we, as your people, be sensitive to their needs and willing to be the answer to their prayers, offering our time and our resources to help them find a brighter future. My dear Lord, I surrender my career and my daily labor to you once again. I ask that you would remove the ceiling on what I believe I can achieve through your guidance. If I have been playing it safe because I am afraid of failure, give me the holy boldness to attempt the things that require your help. I want my work to be a ministry of excellence, a place where integrity is more important than profit, and where people feel valued simply because they are human. Help me to see my workplace as a mission field where I can plant seeds of kindness and peace, trusting that you will bring the increase in your perfect timing. Father, I pray for my physical home, that it would be a place where the atmosphere is different from the world outside. Let the walls of my house be saturated with your peace. I ask that you would push back the darkness of discord, misunderstanding, and bitterness. May my home be a place where laughter is heard often and where forgiveness is granted quickly. I ask for your blessing on my finances, not for the sake of luxury, but so that I can have the freedom to be generous and the stability to care for those I love. I trust that you are opening the windows of heaven to provide for every need according to your riches in glory. Jesus, I bring to you the dreams that I have buried because they felt too big or too impossible. I think of the things I wanted to do before life got complicated, and I became convinced that my time had passed. I ask that you would breathe new life into those dormant seeds. If it is your will, let them sprout and grow in this season. Help me to understand that your timing is not my timing, and that you can do more in a moment than I can do in a lifetime. I choose to believe that my best days are not behind me, but are being crafted by your hand right now, in this very moment. My King, I pray for the nations and the world at large. In places where there is war and displacement, I ask for the limits of hatred to be shattered by the power of your peace. I pray for the relief workers, the peacemakers, and the humble souls who are working in the shadows to bring light to the dark corners of the earth. Give them supernatural endurance and protection. I ask that you would move in the hearts of those in power, turning them toward justice and mercy. We long to see a world where every person can live in dignity and safety, and we know that this vision starts with the transformation of individual hearts, including my own. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." Father, help me to remember this when the day feels difficult. Let me see the pressure not as something meant to crush me, but as something meant to shape me into the person I need to be for the destiny you have planned. I don't want to waste my trials by complaining. I want to use them as stepping stones to a deeper faith. I thank you for the strength that is forged in the fire and for the beauty that comes from the ashes. I am ready to be an ordinary person used for your extraordinary purposes. Dear Lord, as I prepare to step out into the world today, I ask that you would clothe me in your armor. Protect my mind from the lies that say, I am not enough, or that you have forgotten me. Protect my heart from the arrows of comparison and jealousy. I want to walk in a spirit of contentment, knowing that I have everything I need because I have you. Help me to be a light bearer today, someone who notices the person standing alone, someone who offers a word of encouragement to the weary, and someone who reflects your calm in the midst of a storm. Father, I pray for the strength to let go of the things I cannot change. So much of my anxiety comes from trying to fix the past or control the future. I hand over the what-ifs and the if-onlys to you. I choose to live in this present moment where your grace is available and your presence is real. Give me the grace to accept the things that are beyond my power and the courage to change the things that are within my reach. I trust that you are working all things together for my good, even the things that don't make sense to me right now. My King, I ask for a special blessing on my health and the health of those I love. I pray against the spirit of fear that often accompanies illness. Instead, I ask for a spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. I trust in your healing touch, whether it comes through the wisdom of doctors or the direct intervention of your hand. I pray for every cell in my body to be in alignment with your perfect design. I ask for the discipline to care for this temple you have given me, choosing rest when I am tired and nourishment that brings life. Thank you for the strength to move and the senses to experience the beauty of your creation. Jesus, I pray for the unity of your people. Shatter the walls of denominational pride and the limits of our own narrow interpretations of your love. Help us to find common ground in your grace and to work together to bring your kingdom to earth. I ask that the world would know we are yours by the way we love one another across every border and every barrier. Let our lives be a testimony to the fact that when we are in you, there is no Jew or Greek, slave or free, for we are all one in Christ. Use our collective voice to speak truth to power and to bring hope to the hopeless. My dear Lord, as this time of prayer comes to a close, I don't want to leave your presence, but I want to carry it with me. Let the words we have spoken here remain in my heart throughout the day, acting as a shield and a guide. When I feel tempted to shrink back into my old ways of thinking, remind me of the immeasurably more that you have promised. I am stepping out of the boat today, walking on the water with my eyes fixed on you, trusting that you will not let me sink. I am ready to shatter the limits of my past and embrace the limitless future you have prepared. Looking back at where we started this morning, it's amazing how much the perspective of the heart can change in just a few moments of honest dialogue with the Father. We began with our eyes on the walls, and now we end with our eyes on the one who built the stars. Faith is not a magic wand that makes all our problems disappear, but it is a lens that allows us to see the God who is bigger than any problem we will ever face. As you go about your day, I hope you carry this sense of wonder with you, the realization that you are loved by an infinite God who delights in doing the impossible through people just like you and me. We are all works in progress, travelers on a long and winding road, but we are traveling toward a destination of perfect peace. Let us be kind to ourselves and to each other as we navigate the bumps in the path today. Remember that every limit you face is just an opportunity for God to show off His strength. Don't be afraid of the deep water, for that is where the greatest miracles happen. You are cherished, you are protected, and you are called to a life that goes beyond anything you ever thought possible. Go now in the grace of the Father, the love of the Son, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit. I place my life, my heart, and my entire future into your loving hands, my King. I trust you with every detail, and I rest in the assurance that you are already in my tomorrow, preparing the way for me. Thank you for listening to the whispers of my soul and for answering with a peace that the world cannot give. I love you, I honor you, and I dedicate this day and all that I am to your glory alone. May your name be praised in all the earth, today and forevermore. Amen.